Hello! Welcome to the Cup Night Channel. I'm Shane, and today I am bringing you a message about internal fire. I did a little meditation between these three ponderosa pines behind me here earlier, and that is the first thing I saw when I closed my eyes. I saw actually an image of the ram, so Aries. So this is, it's like a initiatory fire, a breakthrough fire, something rising up. And I actually wrote down in my journal, I wrote Aries, and then I realized, let's play with the letters in the word Aries and see what we can get. So I got Aries, of course, arise, raise, a sire, like two words, a sire, and then two words, I sear, like to sear something, to burn something. So a little bit of a warning there with this type of energy, with that I sear, It's not an energy to be carefree with. You got to be careful with it. You can have fun with it, but you don't want to burn yourself. You don't want to burn others either. So that was coming through pretty heavy. And I wrote down internal inferno. Which, you got to be careful with infernos. I actually looked up, what is an inferno exactly? Because, I imagine it in my head, and it's like this crazy swirling firestorm that just destroys everything. And essentially that's what I got. But I do want to read you the results that came up. So it says, an inferno is most commonly defined as a very large, dangerous, and uncontrollable fire or conflagration. A raging or blazing fire that can quickly destroy buildings or landscapes. It is also used metaphorically to describe a place or state that resembles hell due to intense heat, chaos, or suffering. Historically, it is closely associated with Dante's famous poem, The Divine Comedy, where Inferno is the section depicting a journey through the circles of hell. Yeah, so once again, there's a warning here. There's the The energy is electric. I actually asked the pine trees while I was meditating. Yes, I talk to trees now, I guess. But the first thing that popped in my head when I said, "How are you doing today?" The first thing that popped in my head was, "Feeling grand. The energy is electric." So there's this air of electricity. The energy is potent. Hi, I'm back. So I was talking about the energy being electric and wild, and then the wind picked up really hard and knocked my camera over, and then it kind of started sprinkling, so I'm in my element now, my Honda element, talking about the element of fire. Alright, so back on track. We were talking about the Inferno, and how it can be very detrimental, if you let fire get out of control. I mean, everyone knows this. It will burn, it will destroy. I mean, the wildfires we've had in the United States over the past couple of years have been insane. It can be a really bad thing. So, fire is not something to be careless with, and it demands respect. And reverence. It's beautiful. It has, it's very transformative. It clears the way for things. Even in nature, the fires just kind of naturally will occur to clear away the underbrush of a forest and make room for new growth. But the modality of fire that I want to focus on today is it's an internal fire, right? So it's really about spirit fire representative of spirit, creative force, being inside of a vessel. So our bodies are vessels, and the life force within them could be seen as the fire inside, right? And what I was picking up on in my meditation earlier is that the fire, the internal flames, are whipping about. The energies at play in the larger picture are influencing us very heavily right now, and you need to do something with it, because that creative force, if you don't channel it or focus it into something, it can turn into an inferno and, feed off of the most toxic parts of yourself and just become something you don't want. It can, make you lose control of yourself, emotionally, physically. You might find yourself doing things like you regret, like, wow, why did I do that? And I really do believe that if you consciously take that passion, that creative energy, and focus it into something constructive instead of just letting it, get out of control and completely destroy your life potentially, you're much better off, right? And then you have something to share with the world. You've captured that fire. You've contained it. Yeah, you're literally containing it. Like right now, even making a video, you're taking the spirit of the moment and you're putting it into this format, into this medium. And yeah, it can be replayed. It's captured. It is the essence of this fire, of my fire right now, being captured inside of this container, the camera. So yeah, that is, something to be aware of. If you're feeling like you're burning up inside, that your emotions are taking over, that you're feeling a little out of control, maybe just do something creative. It doesn't have to be anything specific. There are tons of creative acts. Making food is a creative act. Cleaning is creative because you're creating a cleaner space, right? Clean your room, clean your house, clean somebody else's house for them if that makes you feel good, if you feel called to. Yeah, just don't sit idly and let the fire grow out of control, because if you do that, you're going to wind up doing something you regret. I got curious about the pine trees because I immediately I was sitting in between 3 pine trees, and 3 is representative of fire numerically, right? Because the triangle has 3 points, and the triangle, the upward facing triangle, is the alchemical symbol for fire. It's a breakthrough energy, right? If you have just 2 points, it's more like a gateway, right? 1, 2, and then 3, kind of like birthing something, right? Hello. Sorry for the graphic imagery, but that's kind of what it is. It's initiatory, it's a breakthrough, it's the release of something. Because fire is it's a release of energy. It is all that pent up potential energy inside of matter being expressed. So anyway, the pine trees, they immediately, as soon as I sat in between them, I was like, man, the energy here is very electric, very fiery. It feels very intense. So I was curious, I know trees, they kind of have to be a little fire resistant in order to survive because of wildfires and things like that. They have to be able to survive those types of things as best they can. So I was curious if, these particular pine trees, the ponderosa pines, were fire resistant, and it turns out they are like the most fire resistant tree in northwest United States, at least according to this little bit of research that I did. So I asked the question. I use, for anyone curious, Perplexity AI. I love it. It's so good. I use it for researching things all the time. But this is the answer it gave me. I said, how fire resistant are ponderosa pine trees? And the answer was, they are considered among the most fire resistant conifers in western North America, especially as they mature. Their fire resistance is primarily due to several specialized adaptations: thick insulating bark, a deep root system, an open crown structure, and high moisture needles and protective buds. So yeah, and there's a lot there just in that response. How we as humans can relate to these traits of the ponderosa pine. So, the first thing, thick insulating bark. It's kind of like that. You kind of gotta have thick skin. You can't just be overly sensitive about everything. You can't be a human that way. If you're constantly going around getting offended by every little thing that everyone says, what kind of life is that? It's not living. It's not a life. I'm just going to say this. And, maybe you don't see it this way spiritually, mentally, however, but other people are you. They are you. We are all each other. Science, every day, it seems, is confirming this. There is an underlying energetic force to everything. And it is shared between everything. So, this is really deep, spiritual, I guess philosophy. I'm not really sure what word to use for it. A lens, a perspective, but everything you see, hear, feel, touch, taste is you. It is you. It is a reflection of you. You are a reflection of it, of everything, of all the other people in the world. Everything you hate, everything you love, everything you fear. All of it. We'll just stick with 3, since we're talking about fire, right? Everything you hate, love, and fear. It's all you. And the implications of that are, I don't even think we can fully comprehend, as humans, what that means. But it definitely adds layers and layers and layers and layers of meaning to everything if you adopt that point of view. And really, for me, what it has done is it has made me more compassionate about everything. Because, it's kind of like the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Why would you have such a rule? There must be a really good benefit for such a rule. And yeah, that benefit is that when you do harm to things outside of your perceived vessel, of this vessel that you believe is all of you, you are really harming yourself in an indirect way. When you harm others, you are harming yourself. Yeah. And that goes back to this idea of controlling the creative force inside of you. Creative forces are also destructive. It's the duality of it, right? In order to create, you must destroy. So the question is, what are you destroying and what are you creating? If you're not aware of the answer to those questions, I hate to tell you this, but then you're not consciously living your life. You are being pushed around by your unconscious whims and desires in such a way that it is probably doing you harm, and the people in your life harm, and the environment harm. So, be conscious of what you're creating and destroying in your life. Because we do this all the time, every day. We are constantly creating and destroying with our words, our actions, our feelings. Like, every step you take is an act of creation. You are creating a direction in which you are moving when you move your feet. When you move your hands, you're moving them in a flow, right? You're creating a flow of energy expressed through your body. You know, this creative force is everything. It is everything. So it demands respect and reverence and your conscious attention. Another message from the Ponderosa Pines. I thought when I was meditating in between them, I thought, you know, pine trees, do you have a message for humanity right now that you would like me to put in this video that I'm making? And first thing that popped in my head was strength in numbers and sharing. There is strength in numbers and sharing. And the strength in numbers part struck me as obviously, you know, community, stuff like that. But not just that, more of like the esoteric side of it, the hidden kind of meaning behind that. Numbers themselves, each number it carries a spirit with it, right? The number 1, unity. The number 2, this is like division or polarity, duality, a gateway, initiation, an opening. The number 3, this is the breakthrough, the creation, right? As I was saying earlier, number 3 is related to fire and the triangle with its 3 points, triangulation. The number 4, stability, like the 4 legs of a table or a chair, or a square, a very stable shape. The number 5, this is also kind of a breakthrough. It's the combination of 3 and 2, right? So this is a stable structure that is being transcended, is kind of how I see it. Because it's kind of like, think of a pentagon. You have a square, and then you have the point pushing out of the square that makes the pentagon shape, right? Because you have the 2, 3, 4, 5. And on and on and on. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you know, there's 5 examples for you. So that's something to reflect on, because you can describe everything with numbers. And, you know, that is also a massive rabbit hole that we will probably never find the bottom of. There may not even be a bottom to it. When you're creating actively, consciously in your life, are you aware of the numbers around you and their influence in what you're doing? Do you pay attention to the numbers that present themselves to you? Do you count the number of times something happened, or the way in which something is expressed numerically? And when you start doing such a practice, what do you notice? You know, maybe this is a challenge from the pine trees. Start paying attention to the numbers in your life, because they're everywhere. You know, we have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. Everything can be quantified. And there is also a qualitative aspect to those numbers. Because, for instance, for the eyes, we have a left eye and a right eye. What is the significance of such an observation? What's the meaning of such an observation? You know, what comes to your mind when you reflect on this very simple observation? because let me tell you, you start pulling on those threads and they will take you to some very strange but exciting places. And they will mirror to you yourself, because as I said earlier, you are everything in your life, and it is you. And you are a channel for creative energy. So how are you channeling this creative energy? I can't get away from this message. It's so powerful. We need to be conscious of how we are channeling our creative energy, where it's going and what it's doing, how it's expressing itself in our lives. Because if you don't take control of it, it will take control of you, and you will probably not end up in a place where you want to be. So I do want to pull some tarot cards for this message as well, and I will do that last. But I have a couple more messages that came through when I was meditating. And one came through pretty strongly, and it was kind of a little bit of a vision. It was like I was in the lobby of a restaurant at the hostess stand, kind of just waiting, and then this girl comes to me and she says, "Your table is ready, please follow me." And right after, I heard this and saw this in my mind's eye, in my head. I'm not sure if it was a hawk or an eagle or a falcon or what, but some bird that screeches very loudly and very courageously above me just started going off, like screeching nonstop, way up in the air. It was very moving. It was a very powerful experience. So there's something ready. There's something that was created already for you. And all you have to do is go to it. Follow your hostess to your table. And the bird above me, which was valiantly screeching, also brought to mind that you need to listen for the higher calling in your life, right? There is something calling you, and I'm sure you feel it, and you're aware of it. But are you listening to it, or are you ignoring it? Because I guarantee you that calling is that creative force. And it is calling you to do something with that creative force that you have. Every human has this force. We are all individuals. I mean, you unconsciously created your own personality, right? All of us are different. We all have unique ways of expressing ourselves and how we sound and how we move our bodies. And so why would you waste such an incredible gift by ignoring it, by ignoring the call? It's a fiery call. And, I'm not saying that as soon as you start listening to this call that your life is going to completely turn around, because that's not how it works. It is definitely a journey, and everyone's is different, and we all have our own special challenges designed just for us. And think about the implications of that, because if you are everything, and everything is you, then all of the pain, all of the fear, all of the frustration, all the negative things you've experienced in your life were designed by you. And such a thought might be enough to make somebody go insane, right? But if you are brave and you are courageous and you tap into that never-ending fire inside of you, all things are possible. You can overcome anything. You can. You can do it. Is it easy? No. But if it was easy, it would be so boring. you know? You wouldn't feel that sense of satisfaction of having overcame everything that kept you down. Right? So, you know, step forward. Step through the fire. Step into the fire. Will it destroy you, or will you walk triumphantly through it? Will you walk hand in hand with it? Okay. Last thing that came through in my meditation was abundant growth requires an abundant mind. And I wanted to write down environment. I wanted to write down abundant growth requires an abundant environment at first. But I hesitated when I was writing it, and I thought, that's not... It is true, but it's not... It doesn't fully encapsulate what was coming through. Because this is more about perspective, this message. It's... You may look around your environment and you may think, this land is barren. There is nothing here for me. There's nothing I can do here. But that's not true. It's not. It requires a shift in perspective, a shift in your mind. And this is not to say that you should just stay where you are, because only you will know if you need to go, right? You will know if you feel pulled to go somewhere, physically, like moving or just, traveling to visit somewhere or whatever. If you start paying attention to your environment and the signs and the numbers, the messages that are hidden just for you, all around you, you will know if you need to go somewhere. But what I'm talking about is this desire to become a better person, whatever that means to you. Because it's, it's different for everyone. It is different for everyone. You have to change the lens with which you view the world all the time. And it's not about just having one static lens either. And when I say lens, I'm referring to your mind, your perception. It's about being malleable in your perception and being able to have multiple perceptions of a single situation, of a single event or occurrence at any given time. It's about not being stuck or blocked by your own mind, right? And I'm not saying that once you figure out how to do this, that you are forever unblocked. Because no. Probably not. You probably will become blocked many, 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 many times throughout your life. But are you able to realize when you are blocked, and are you able to shift your perception when it is necessary to become unblocked? Alright, this message was way heavier than I thought it was going to be when I wrote all this down. But the energy, it feels fiery. I feel the passion. So, I'm going to draw some tarot cards now. If you're still with me, thank you for sticking through here. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. I am going to draw tarot cards, but before I do that, I have these two magazines. One is it's a Sears magazine for electrical wiring. Hopefully you can see that in the camera if it's not too bright. I found this in an old house that my boyfriend and I are working on. They just had a bunch of stuff that was like frozen in time, and I walked in there and saw all these books and magazines all over the place, and I was like, oh my god, this is a treasure mine. You know, like there's gonna be so much cool crap in here, and there was. It just, it blew my mind. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna flip to a random page in the middle of this magazine, and we're gonna see what nuggets of wisdom lie within. So, what we got is section 4. So you can see there, section 4, so the number 4 coming through, paying attention to those numbers. And wiring diagrams for switches, 3 and 4-way switches. So 3 and 4 together. So 3, fire, creative force, 4, stability. Together, they make 7, which is, to me, 7 is a very mystical number. It is the combination of spirit and matter. So, and if you think about, Eastern spirituality, the 7 chakra system, the number 7 is very prevalent in a lot of different spiritual teachings, but the chakra system is probably the most well-known one. But yeah, what I'm getting here is a rewiring. Kind of like what I was just saying, right? About your perception. This is talking about how to connect switches, receptacles, and fixtures to allow the flow of energy, to be able to turn on lights, to be able to shed light, to be able to use the energy to power useful devices. Yeah. So what I'm getting out of this is there may be some wiring required. There may be some internal rewiring that needs to take place here. And only you can know exactly what that is and how that would look. But it's something you got to start thinking about, It's something to consider. The process for doing such a thing is going to be different for everyone. It's going to be unique to you because your unique creative spirit demands it in such a way. All right, so also, as I was saying in the first part of the video when I was outside, I had I seer for Aries when you rearrange the letters, and we have seers. I don't know if you can see that. How perfect is that? All right. And then next we have this Popular Science magazine, which I also found in this house. And, it's been in there for who knows how long. I was trying to see if there was a date of when this was issued. June 1981. Maybe you can see that on there. It's kind of like right here. Yeah, so very cool. And this magazine is focused on solving the mystery of the sun's violent flares. You can read that in the title there. I mean, how crazy is that? It's like the perfect magazine for such a message. Talking about that like Inferno energy, that creative force, and the sun, what it, is the most powerful symbol of creative force. Our solar system would not exist without our sun. It holds everything together. All right, so I'm going to pick, I'm feeling towards the end of this magazine now, so I'll pick a page towards the end, and here we go. So what's standing out to me, we have an advertisement on here that says, how to save energy. So the wise use of energy, right? Energy saved is money saved. A connection between the creative force and finances. A good and easy way to start saving is to seal your home with Red Devil caulks and fillers. All right, there we go. We got some got a little ad sponsorship with Red Devil. Who knows if they're even a company anymore? But that's interesting. Red Devil coming through. Because, you know, the devil associated with fire and hell, everything I had talked about in the beginning of this video. So yeah, are you going to let the devil control your life, or are you going to control it? Because the way I see it, unconscious, fiery energy, that's the devil, right? Right? In a way? In a certain perspective? So, does the devil have control over life, or of your life, or do you? Are you going to take that control back? We have something about, it says battery-powered modular log splitting. An electric log splitter that can be trailered, carried in a truck, or put in the trunk of a compact car by one man? I was skeptical. But a day later, David Chesvold of Yukon Industries drove into my driveway with the splitter neatly packed in the trunk of his Zephyr. Alright, so something about a process here of dividing things, of splitting them up, right? And that goes back to, I did software engineering for about 5 years, and one of the paradigms we would use is something called divide and conquer. And it's basically the idea of taking a massive problem, something you see as a huge, almost insurmountable problem, and splitting it up into tiny little pieces, and then tackling each of those parts individually in order to solve for the bigger problem. So, yeah. Is there something in your life that you see as a problem right now? Does it feel overwhelming? Do you have to solve it all in one go? In one moment? No. Can you split it up and tackle it, piece by piece over time? Will it take time? Yeah. And yeah, you can. It's a very effective strategy. It's even a strategy in war. Divide and conquer, that's where it came from, wartime strategies. Are you at war with something? Should you be? Should you be at war with this devil that is trying to control your life and tell you that you're no good and you'll never be anything, you'll never amount to anything, you'll never be able to do anything? Those devilish thoughts that haunt you, should you be at war with them? Because I think you should. And I think Spirit does too. And on the other side, we have, for sturdy good looks, try butcher block construction. Yeah. So, taking that problem, breaking it into pieces, and then creating something awesome from it. I mean, something awesome and stable that is useful. How cool is that? Something that will bring abundance into your life. It requires work, though, because you have to be the channel for such energies in order to create such things. All right. So on the back, I closed the magazine, and we have an advertisement for Barclay cigarettes. Look at this. Oh my god. It's so 80s. I can't. I love it. But at the bottom it says, "The pleasure is back." 99% tar free. And there's that fire. And he's controlling that fire, He's using it to do something that's probably not so great, for his vessel, for longevity, but it was the time. It was the early 80s, Perspectives have changed since then, because now we know, these mass-produced cigarettes are not good for us because they're packed with chemicals that are just bad. But there's something here about pleasure and fire. The connection between that creative force and pleasure. And, you know, who doesn't want pleasure in their life? Okay, we have finally made it to the portion of the video where I'm going to pull some tarot cards. Thank you for sticking through if you're still here. I know this is a really long, like way longer than I thought it was going to be, message, but I'm feeling it. It feels good, and I don't want to put the fire out yet. The fire is still burning. There's still material here that's burning, and we have the Empress coming through on the split, and she is the feminine creative force in the tarot. You know, she creates life all around her. I mean, just look at her. She's surrounded by abundance. She flourishes. But, you know, like, she brings it to her reality. She makes it happen. And we have the Nine of Cups on the other side. This is one I had pulled this morning, but I feel like it's relevant. The number 9 is associated with spirit and the unseen, the invisible. And this card specifically is associated with fulfillment, which is, you know, that cigarette ad. The pleasure is back. It's back, baby. Look at the Nine of Cups and the Empress. Is there, you know, that's pleasure. All right, let's see what else has to come through here. Got the Ten of Wands coming up on this split. There's fire, and this is a culmination of something. Your table is ready, as they say. And that's actually, you know, he's carrying those wands, which represent fire in the tarot. And he's taking them home, and he's going to do something with it. You know, he's made something of all of his creative energy. He's not let it control his life. The Tower. This seems to always come up for me. It has, you know, dark and light aspects, just like all the cards do, all the energies do. But I feel like this is a warning. Look at what's happening. The creative force is destroying this tower. You know, it's forcing these people out of where they are, of their home. Could things have turned out differently? You know, who knows? Sometimes such a force is necessary in order to wake us up, in order to unblock us. You need to have something shocking to disrupt your life in order to force a change. And that's that, you know, like I was saying earlier, if you don't consciously work with this creative force, you know, it's going to get your attention one way or another. So, better to honor it, right? Alright. Spirit, what else do we need to know about for this message of creativity? Alright. Got the Two of Wands. This is planning. This is opportunity. A gateway appears before you. The world in your hands. The fire at your back. What are you going to do with it? Another 2 coming through. The Two of Pentacles. As I was just saying, what are you going to do with it? Decisions to be made. Options to weigh. Maybe a difficult environment. You know, waves. Rocking the boat. Moving you. Pushing you to and fro. Can you balance it? Can you juggle it? Can you hang in there? And the Sun. What is being illuminated? You know, what is the fire's light revealing to you? What is it? What does it act like? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Do one more. Another 2. 2 of Swords. A crossroads. Setting your thoughts aside to go within, to close your eyes and just feel the energies present, receiving like antennas, messages from the energies currently at play within your life, and then deciding where to go from there. I said I was only going to pull one more, but I'm feeling called to do a 5th. So, and how perfect? We have the 3 of Wands. So the 3, as I was saying, fire, and then the Wands, fire, and expansion. Expanding your creative force and taking hold of it. You can see he's grabbed hold of this wand here, and he's looking out at this landscape, looking at all the opportunities in front of him. He's changed his perspective. He's aware that the opportunities are out there, and he is ready to go. He's outside. He's already taken the steps to position himself in order to start this new journey. Where's it going to lead him? Well, that's the fun of it, right? We don't know. We don't know, and we'll never know unless we go. All right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for being with me. Yeah, I really feel this message, so if you've stuck through the whole video, I greatly appreciate it. I wish you the best on whatever creative pursuits you are pursuing at this time, whatever you're expanding in your life. I wish you the best, and yeah, take care of yourself, keep your heart open. Bye.